From my perspective, do your research. You don't have to listen to me. You don't have to listen to anybody. You don't have to believe Ken Berry. You don't have to believe anybody, but do your research so that you can make an informed decision. Doctors tell you things, but they don't give you all the information. People tell you, want to sell you stuff like, some of these diet gurus on YouTube. They'll be like, if you do this, you're going to lose that. And, but if you buy my big package of videos here, I'm going to help you lose weight. Do your research. And I think that's the biggest thing. You need to know before you make your decision because it's your health. And I think that it's important for people to take control of their own lives and their own health and not just flow with the rest of the people around them. So that'd be my number one recommendation is make sure you do your research so you understand what you're doing for your own health.
Hello, fellow carnivore enthusiasts. I'm Adam from Carnivore Today, and in today's interview, we're chatting with John from the Carnivore Backwoods YouTube channel. John's health journey will inspire you to seriously consider the carnivore lifestyle if you aren't eating this way, and encourage you to keep it up if you already are. If you want to fix plantar fasciitis, lift your brain fog, lose some weight, and feel fabulous, then don't miss this interview. Dive in with us as John shares his inspiring story and significant effects this carnivore lifestyle has brought to his life. Before we dive in, please take a moment to subscribe and enable notifications so you're always in the loop with our future videos. A big thank you to those who have already done so. Now let's get started. Today we're with John Collis. He's down in, East Tennessee? Is that where you're from, John?
Yeah, I'm in East Tennessee out here just on the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains.
Okay, awesome. So your channel name is Carnivore Backwoods?
That's correct. Yeah. Yeah, I live in the middle of nowhere, so backwoods fits it perfectly.
That's awesome. So in terms of your property, did you have to do any kind of cleanup or clearing or anything like that in order to start out on your homestead?
Oh, absolutely. So, what is it? It was 2 years ago. We bought the property. It took a little time before we were ready. But I had a third of an acre. I got a total of 15 acres. I had a third of an acre cleared off with a forestry mulcher. Had a septic system brought in, and then we moved our 32-foot camper trailer on the property. And that's what we've been, living out of until I built the small cabin addition to there. We're completely off grid. I have solar panels and, I use rainwater collection for showers and toilets and stuff like that. And then we have spring water that we use for cooking and drinking. And so the only connection I have to the outside world is via internet.
Okay. Nobody walking by or anything like that?
No, I'm tucked up in the woods. There's the road's about, I don't know, 150, 200 feet away, but I'm tucked up in the woods. Nobody comes up my road.
If they did, should they be scared?
They probably should.
I hear you.
I got a grass passing sign at the gate, it says electronic surveillance. And I got one past that. And it says you're either bulletproof or stupid at this point.
Nice. That's perfect.
Yeah.
I love it. So for everybody watching, can you kind of maybe tell us a little bit about yourself, your family, and your age and where you were born, things like that?
Well, I'm going to be 49 next week. Me and my wife, we were both born on the West Coast. My dad was from Tennessee, so I got a lot of family out here. But I was born in Southern California in Los Angeles, unfortunately. We escaped out when I was about 6 years old, moved to Lake Tahoe, Nevada. And we lived in, Tahoe, Reno area for most of my youth. And then we actually moved out here to Tennessee for a short period of time, but the economy back then when I was like 19, 20 years old, the economy was horrible back here. So we ended up moving back to Nevada. But as I tell people, I spent 40 years in the desert and I decided I needed someplace greener. So we moved out here about 10 years ago.
Wow. You couldn't have picked a more greener place.
Absolutely. It grows faster than I can keep it cut down half the time.
Wow. That's awesome. Cool.
My wife's a nurse.
Okay.
she's a registered nurse, and works in medical rehab, not drug rehab, but medical rehab. So uh, as patients need to rehab from surgeries or whatever the circumstances are, they can go to her facility and they help give them the rehab they need before they can go back home. And then when I was in Nevada, I was actually worked for state parks as a non-law enforcement park ranger, and that was actually my best job. Moved out here, and um, park ranger thing wasn't going to work out here because you had to be law enforcement, and they just didn't pay enough. The money out here was not good enough. So I ended up in auto parts, and I did auto parts for years. I was a commercial salesman for town over here in Clinton. Then I left that, tried to get out of it, and now I've made it back into parts. But now I'm working for international truck dealership, and I'm selling truck parts. And I've been
Okay.
doing that for about the last year and a half.
Nice. So obviously we wouldn't be talking if you didn't have special kind of a diet. So let's maybe kind of lead into that a little bit and
Okay.
let's help to understand, what carnivore backwoods actually what it means and why you chose that specific way of eating.
Okay. You want me to give you some backstory, or how far back you want me to
Sure.
go?
Sure.
Okay.
Go back as far as you want.
So back in 2012, 2013, I was probably right around 325, 330 pounds. And I got this idea that, I'm done with this. I'm gonna get on the calorie count. And I got the fitness app out, and I bought myself an elliptical, and I started counting my calories, and I started working out like crazy. And I dropped my weight down to 265, 270, somewhere in there. I was looking pretty lean at the time. And we were hiking, we were going up in the Sierra Mountains. We were hiking along, a lot of the hiking trails up there. Um, we were swimming on a regular basis, going to the pool and swimming, which was where where I lost a lot of weight. And so I was taking some medication at the time because I had high blood pressure and high cholesterol, as they say. And
Right.
so I went to the doctor I was with at the time. I said, "Hey, I lost all this weight. Can we reduce my medicine?" I was on 80 milligrams of Lipitor, and the doctor said, "Well, hey, let's do this. I'll drop you down to 40 milligrams of simvastatin." Okay, I didn't know the difference, and
Uh,
so I said, "Let's do it." So I started taking simvastatin, and it wasn't immediate, but it was within a couple of months. I started getting these major, major cramps in my legs and in my arms. And you'd be laying there in the middle of the night, 2 in the morning, and suddenly your leg wants to ball up, and you're standing up trying to stretch it out to stop this horrible pain. And this went on, and I talked to the doctor, and he told me that I probably need to get more electrolytes and drink water. And I think he even you know get potassium, the whole nine yards. And so I tried all that, and what I really ultimately learned over time was what triggered it. And I tried not to do that. So if I was in bed and I was going to turn over, you had to make sure you do something to make that happen. 'Cause if you stress too much, you'd ball up.
right.
And so, um, this went on, and of course, I couldn't swim. I get in the water, in just 2 minutes of swimming, my legs would cramp, and you couldn't really hike. And I started gaining back the weight. Things were fairly miserable. By the time we moved to Tennessee, I was hitting the 300 mark again, and that continued on. And I've been up and down now. I was at 345 when I started carnivore, but I probably pushed higher than that at some points, probably closer to 365 maybe. But I don't know. I didn't really monitor my weight because it just depressed me. But what I did is, you know, um, I got the curious one night. I was like really in pain, and it kept me awake. And so I got on Google, and I started Googling side effects of my medicines. I said, there's got to be something here. And it kind of dawned on me that this all happened after I changed my cholesterol medicine. And so when I got into Googling simvastatin, I discovered that two of the side effects, and not all of the side effects, but two of the primary things is one is it causes excessive eating, and two, it causes muscle
Wow.
cramps.
Uh, Wow.
Yeah. And so I went to my doctor here and I said, "Hey, look, this is what I found." Of course, wasn't happy that I was, a Google doctor, and he was kind of gruff with me and, like, "I don't think that's what it is." He was giving me the back and forth. But after a conversation for a little bit, he agreed, "Okay, we'll take you off and we'll see what happens. But if your cholesterol goes up high, we're going to have to put you back on it." That was our conversation. And at this point, I was like, "Okay, doc." But, in the back of my head, I was like, "That's not going to happen." But okay, we'll agree to disagree, quietly to myself.
Right.
And so got off the medicine, and I would say within a week or two, I started noticing that I wasn't getting these cramps as excessive and as regular. And then it probably took 6 months before they really subsided to a point where I wasn't, having them regularly. Um, but that was my thing with medicine. And then, of course, I've been trying to lose weight since then because my picture in my mind was this: I've lost, this, or I got rid of this drug and it was causing these issues. I want to get back to exercising and starving myself and see if I can't, lose some weight. Well, that didn't work. I've tried for the years I've been out here to do that. And I don't know if the stress of the job and the hours I work, it just never worked out right. Um, and so fast forward to February of this year, 2023, um, I was, this is the funny part is I was preparing to plant a garden on the property, for the year. And then I was doing research. I was on YouTube and I was, checking out, different YouTube channels that I follow. And one of the ones I followed for a long time, his name is Roots and Refuge.
Yep.
Uh,
I
if I
followed
can't,
that one too.
do you? She,
Yeah.
she posted a video in February, mid-February or so, talking about her health. And she, and I had known she was losing a lot of weight because you could see it in the videos because she posts on a regular basis. And then she went into the whole spiel about how she started carnivore.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I knew she had a health issue, but I never stayed with it long enough to find out why. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
She posted a video, in February. If you look at my last video, I have a link in the description that actually links directly to that video. But anyway, it's a long, drawn out video talking about her health and what she went through and what she was dealing with. It was autoimmune and getting on this and how it immediately stopped these issues that she'd been dealing with for years, and her journey into carnivore. Now, I expect that she's probably more ketovore than carnivore because she's still gardening.
Right.
But that's how I heard the words first time. I knew what a carnivore was, but I never heard of the carnivore diet.
Hmm.
And so I said, I got to check this out. And so I started deep diving the internet, which I'm really good at doing. I can, jump on there and I just start searching. And so then
Right.
through my searching, I found Dr. Ken Berry, and he's got over 400 videos or something. I mean, I binge watched, not all 400, but I've been watched, I don't know, 100 plus videos he has, maybe more. And I was talking over with the wife and explaining to her. And of course, she was dealing with weight herself, and we decided, okay, we're going to do this, and that was March 1st, and that's how I got to carnivore. And
Awesome.
I weighed 345 pounds, when we started this, and what a ride.
So
It's been a great.
she's doing it with you then, huh?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. She's down about right around 30 pounds.
Okay.
Um,
Awesome.
and she's had a few stalls and stuff, but she just keeps plugging along. We both eat the same thing every day, so.
That's very cool. So you didn't get any pushback from her being in the medical industry, like you're gonna clog your arteries and gonna die if you
No,
eat this way.
no, she's always been open minded, and we both don't like taking anything more than we have to. I mean, I don't want to take an ibuprofen unless I have to. I don't want to take medicine unless I have to. we're both with that mindset. We always have been, even before she was a nurse, and she sees a lot of the side effects of it. So I expect she's pretty wise to it. So no pushback. We both started the same day. Um, Within the first week, I had lost like 15 pounds. You know,
Nice.
and that was intense because that's a lot of weight to lose in a week. And like, what is up with that? But most of it was obviously water weight, and I had the great purge. So
Right.
yeah, we all go through
Right.
it. Some of us
Both.
close.
Right.
But then I was losing. Up until the first couple months, I was losing a pound every couple days. You know, and then it slowed down as my weight we lost, and it started slowing down. Um, yeah, and we definitely learned a lot and studied a lot and watched a lot more videos, and found Homestead How, and a lot of the other YouTubers on there. There's been a boom of a lot of new YouTubers on here as of late, but a lot of the original ones we were watching. Um, so then I finally got in to see my doctor here. That was July the 10th. And at this point, I had already lost, I don't know, I had just got under 300. So I was about 45 pounds down at that point.
Okay.
Probably almost 50 pounds down at that point, because the last 10 pounds has been a little bit of a struggle play. Went in there, had a conversation with her. Of course, getting my labs done, and I was requesting labs, and she's like, "Why do you want to know that?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, want to know. I want to know if I'm insulin resistant." That was one of the labs. I didn't request all the ones that Ken Berry did because I couldn't remember them, and I with me. But I said, this is the things, and we had conversation. She seemed to be open at the time, but as we delved more into it, I could tell that she was definitely resistant, to what I was saying. And then she started getting on a kick about, well, you're going to have to take Metamucil. And I'm like, no, I don't, I don't have no problem in that area. I don't have any problems in that area. I don't need any Metamucil. I'm,
For sure.
doing my business when I need to do it. And she was just adamant about this. And of course, I brought up, said, look, there's a study that came out, and it's indicated that there's no benefit to actually eating fiber, and and that if you actually delve into it, the basis of the study said that if you had colon cancer and you had high consumptions of fiber, that you had less mortality. Well, that doesn't mean it stops you from getting colon cancer. That means that the study said that if you ate this and you had colon cancer, you were less likely to die. And that wasn't even clear. And there was another study came out that said absolutely not. There's no correlation whatsoever. She didn't like that, and you could have burned a trail of her leaving that room. She was done talking to me.
Yeah. Yeah. How can you prove the opposite of that? Right.
Yeah.
If those people that ate the fiber had less likelihood of dying from cancer, how do you prove the opposite direction?
Yeah.
If they didn't eat it and they died, there's no way to link this stuff together like they do. It's pretty crazy.
No, I mean, it's just a stretch. It's taking a little piece of it, and then we're going to make it bigger. And so you see constantly throughout a lot of things nowadays, you see that where we take a small piece of something and then we stretch that out to fit the narrative.
Yep, for sure.
So the funny thing, and I just find this funny, is that when you go and get your labs done, my labs are ready the next day. I logged on, to my app and could see my lab results. My triglycerides were dramatically. They were up I want to say they were up around 200, 300, a year ago, and they were like 87.
Oh, wow.
And my HDL was up, and my ratio went from, I did the math on it. It was like 4 point something. It was what it was a year ago to 1.5, in July.
Incredible.
Which is really good. Of course, my LDLs were elevated about 10 higher than they were the year before, but they were only in the 150 range. They weren't overly high based on what they say is high. But then if you go back far enough, it used to be that number was much higher than it is today.
Mhm.
They've reduced that number over the years. But she took 30 days to call me, a
Wow.
month. Yeah, it was a month before she called to want to talk about my labs, and I didn't even call her back, and she hasn't called me. And I'm looking for a new doctor. That's I think I found one that's that's ketogenic friendly. So I'm going to be looking into that. But yeah, I blew her mind so bad she could talk to me for a month after my labs.
Wow. So she had a little bit of hurt ego, huh?
I would say so.
Wow.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because it should be a teamwork. It should be a teamwork between your doctor and yourself.
For
And
sure.
it's not anymore. It's just here, take this pill, call me tomorrow.
Right. Next. Bring in
Yeah.
the next one. Yeah, for sure. So what other benefits have you seen besides the weight loss? Or let's just ask this first. How much have you lost since you've started in total? Right.
I well, so moving forward, you know, um, of course, we stopped the metformin, and that was something that we agreed upon at the time. Now, my wife's a nurse, and we decided, that when my blood pressure got to a point where I was starting to bend over and it was starting to cause me dizzy, we stopped some blood pressure. So I'm only taking one blood pressure medicine. So I was going down regularly steady until I came off of HCTZ, which is a water pill. And it just kind of stopped, and then I'd go up a few pounds and come back down to it. So I was at 285, and I go up to 291, and I go back to 285, and I go back to 291. And I did this for a couple of weeks. And finally, you know, I broke the 285 mark, and I was down to 284. So right now I'm, 61 pounds down,
That's awesome, man. That's
you know,
great.
and yeah, it's absolutely great. I feel amazing. I tell people all the time when they get into talking to me, because they'll be like, "Oh man, you're losing a lot of weight." And I said, this diet, if you even want to call it that, because I don't really call it a diet because I'm not starving myself. Um, I if I never lost another single pound, I'm happy with the fact that I feel better. The health improvements are worth everything of this. You know,
Absolutely.
weight loss is just like an added bonus, but the no more brain fog, no more aches and pains, no more, waking up in the middle of the night. Um, my, my skin tags, and I had a bunch of them in my armpits, they all disappeared
That's
almost
awesome.
overnight. You know, they just suddenly weren't there anymore, and you're like, where did they go? And they just, your body just like taking those back, anymore. And I've learned through Dr. Ken Berry's videos, that's a good sign of diabetes. And the insulin resistant is you start, getting these skin tags. Um, the other big health benefit that I discovered, um, is, and I don't know if I ever say this right. I have I had plantar fasciitis in my, and
Okay.
it's basically an inflammation of the tendon in the bottom of your foot. From standing on hard surfaces, it causes that inflammation of that tendon. And you get home at night and you take your shoes off and your feet start to cool. That tendon just wants to, ball up and then hurt. Um, Gone. And I've been dealing with it for years. I'm talking 15 years
Oh
of off
man.
and on, dealing with this. And it would, it was always there. And sometimes I could make it better. I had to, I bought special shoes. I've dealt with it for years. I don't have any aches and pains anywhere, unless I go out and do something strenuous. I don't hurt at all.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I'm right there with you with the plantar fasciitis. I had it so bad I couldn't stand for 30 minutes,
Yeah.
and then I'd have to sit down for 2 hours. It
Yeah.
was it was horrible.
If you've had it, then you understand what a horrible thing it is.
It's just an intense pain that it's hard to describe. It's
Mhm.
debilitating.
It is. And, and so, you know, I ended up having to get like a stool to sit on, and that helped some, but it never really stopped it, because you're still getting up on your feet. You're still on your feet. And your feet are still hot from wearing shoes all day long. And so, yeah, it was intense, and I could get through the day, but I would normally at the end of the night, you're just sitting there, and, you're grinning and bearing the pain until and trying to stretch out your feet to stop the pain. Um,
Right.
it's gone. That's, I got more energy. I'm out, I'm outside doing things again. Last year I was working on the property, and between the sun and being out there, I felt like I was going to die a couple times. I mean, it was just overwhelming. And this summer I've been out all year. The heat don't bother me. You know, uh, the sun doesn't bother me. I haven't been able to get a sunburn. Intentionally trying.
Right.
Being out in the sun. I
Carnivores don't sunburn.
apparently carnivores don't sunburn because I've been out in the sun. And if you see my head, it's white as it can get. I
Right.
wander around all day without a hat on, and I can't even get a tan.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's incredible. Yeah, I don't get hot either. For some reason, it's almost like bring on the heat. I like it.
yeah,
It's a different feeling because before it was you go outside for 5 minutes in the heat. You're like, I'm going back inside.
yeah. No, it's completely different. I don't. You get out in this humidity and the sweating's horrible, but the heat don't bother me.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So how long did it take your fasciitis to go away?
2 weeks.
Okay, nice. Yeah, mine was started to feel better after 3 days, and after 5 days, 6 days, completely gone. I couldn't believe it. Like you had to spend, hundreds of dollars on these shoes and boots and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, I started this way of eating for something else, but this is fixed almost immediately. I was shocked.
The health improvements are dramatic, and you just can't describe it to people. They look at you like you're crazy, like, nah, that don't happen. But I've uh, I've raised livestock off and on through the years. I've raised, I had some cattle that I was running on a 300-acre ranch out in Nevada. I've raised hog and horses, and you can take a horse that's looking like it's ready, to be put down,
Hmm.
and your proper nutrition, you can do amazing things to a horse. And that's the same thing for humans. Nutrition is everything. That's really what I've figured this out over time. I had the aha moment is it's about nutrition. You're getting all of the nutrition that your body needs and it responds accordingly. You know, you get,
Sure.
the superfoods of meat and even if you're in or not into organs, there's just so much nutrition there between eggs, meat, especially beef, that your body responds accordingly and you get healthy, and it's a dramatic difference. Your skin looks better. You got a shine to your skin. I mean, it's just, you can look at somebody and realize that they are much more healthy than they used to be.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that. That's it's almost like meat is like you said, a superfood, but it's almost like a medicine, if you will. I mean, especially for where we got ourselves with the standard American diet, it's definitely medicine.
It's quite funny where we're at after 100 years of industrial agriculture and and food, industrial
Mm.
food movement, how much it's changed since, our grandparents, grew up.
For
And
sure.
now how many people are blind to that and they're like, "Oh, this is the way it is." No, this isn't the way it is. This is the way it is now. But it
Yeah.
wasn't like that not too long ago.
Hmm.
You know,
So, what
it,
does your typical day look like in terms of your meals and what?
Most days I'm doing OMAD now. I'm doing one meal a day. Occasionally, I will throw in an extra, stop if you want to. Sometimes on Saturday, I might grab something, grab some breakfast on my way to work or something. But most days are gonna be steak and eggs. I like ribeye, but I can't always afford it. I search all the grocery stores ads on the internet, and when any of them go on sale, we just go right to the refrigerator and clear it out. Um,
Nice.
I've literally walked out of there clearing out the refrigerator of every stick.
That's awesome.
Um,
They're probably
no,
thinking, who's this nut?
they look at you like, man, you having a party? Yes, I am.
For me and my wife.
So We'll eat some of the lesser steaks, but then we'll add in, some butter and stuff to up the fat level. We like hamburger. I'll do smash burgers on the Blackstone. Um, Probably once a week. Um, the wife will fry up chicken that's in lard. No seasoning, no breading, just straight frying chicken in lard is absolutely amazing tasting. Comes out, you salt it, but it's right there about to fall off the bone. It's really crispy skin. Yeah, it's really tasty. And and you're getting a little bit of extra fat because of using the pig lard. Though I sometimes add some butter uh to it just to boost it up because chicken's not as nutritious as beef, obviously.
Right, right.
And of course, we'll eat some seafood and shrimp. We'll throw in a few things to offset it, but mostly it's steak and eggs. You know, beef, buttered bacon, eggs, repeat.
Yeah, I'm right there with you for sure. I want to experiment a little bit with the lion diet because I have an autoimmune condition, and
Mhm.
just wanted to try that maybe for a couple months. I know I could do it. It'd be a lot easier now after doing BBB and E, to just get rid of everything else, just do meat, salt, and water. But I haven't done it yet for some reason. I don't know why.
I've thought about it, yeah, but as long as I'm still losing weight right now, I mean, I don't have autoimmune condition like you, so I could see that. But right now, where I'm at, I'm like, as long as this continues on the way it is, I'm pretty happy. I don't see the need to do anything extreme yet. Um,
That's
and of
awesome.
course, me and the wife eat the same things pretty much. So, she's not as hardcore carnivore as I am,
Mm.
but she's definitely, ketovore. She'll throw in a few things here every once in a while. Um,
Right.
the going lion diet would be a struggle because I would be eating things differently to her, and so it's better for us to be doing the same thing together.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cool. So what kind of things do you do in your free time? Got any hobbies or anything? Or
Um, my free time is made up of two things. I make gun holsters for handguns, and so
okay, nice.
I make leather gun holsters for
Neat.
handgun. And so that's kind of my hobby slash side hustle.
Hmm.
And then the rest of it is working on my homestead because we're gonna build, we moved onto the property. The goal was to get on the property, get there. Um, but now the goal is to build about 1,100 square foot cabin on the property. And so I've been dropping trees, and I got a sawmill, and so we're gonna mill
Nice.
some of that up for lumber. A lot of it's gonna get, some of the other wood's gonna get split up and used for firewood, and then we're gonna get the pad, graded in for the cabin. So that's that's my goals. That's what I do in most of my free time. Every once in a while, I'll split off, decide I'm gonna go fishing. I'm planning on doing some deer hunting this fall, but those are the
Nice.
two primaries.
Very cool. So do you plan on doing any videos on like update videos on construction process or anything like that for your channel?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I've been toying with YouTube for years, and I
Mm.
actually threw up some videos and I was playing around, but just I don't know, my comfort level wasn't there.
Mm.
Being a carnivore, I just I'm at peace. That's the great. Yeah,
That's
no
awesome.
things that would have just absolutely irritated me, a year ago.
Mm.
I'm like, okay, yeah. That's the one of the things that's really interesting is I'm not triggered as easily, and not to say that I don't get mad at things because there's things that will get me mad, but I'm not triggered mad. Where just something just sets you off and you're mad.
Right.
And that's a cool thing about carnivore too.
That's
Um,
awesome.
so we're
So you had anxiety type feelings before in terms of making videos or
yeah, absolutely. Is this work? Am I doing this right? Is it going to be accepted? I mean, you get the whole thing. I'm a pretty outspoken person, but the whole thing about recording videos and putting yourself out there on the internet for the world to see.
right?
was a big stretch. But now I'm like, yeah, I can do that. That's fine. I don't have a problem. I could definitely talk, and we just need to have a conversation about you know nutrition.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
I'll probably post the stuff up, about the homestead and the cabin build. I got plans. I'm gonna go up and build a food plot up on the top of my ridge for deer. I'll probably pop some stuff in on that. So there'd be a little bit of mixture in there, but right now I'm primarily focusing on carnivore because it's become my passion. I've
That's awesome.
spread the word to let people know, and I have a few people that have actually started carnivore because of the conversations I have with them, and I'm excited for them
Nice.
to be able to experience the same things that I have.
That's awesome. Well, I'm definitely looking for an update video on planting a garden for deer. Are they your pets, or are you
No, no,
plan
no,
on
no,
eat them?
Yeah, I plan on eating them. I'm a carnivore too.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, that's probably a video you don't see on YouTube. I'm planting a
That's
garden, but it's for my food.
there's actually quite a few of them out there if you go looking for it. But
Really? Okay.
you, some people might not like it, but it is what it is. We've been doing it for
Yeah.
years. And meeting is part of it. And trust me, deer are everywhere in East
Oh
Tennessee. They're
yeah.
not really big. Not like the deer in Nevada where I was hunting mule deer and stuff. Those deer were were massive, but there's plenty of deer out here. So there's no problem with your population. You're not even going to put a den in it around.
Right. Yeah, they're pretty bad around here in Ohio too.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
every
you got bigger deer up there in Ohio though. Down here, these deer are pretty small for whitetail.
really.
Yeah.
I wonder why that is. Just too many of them down there. Or?
Um, some people say it's a nutritional thing that's lacking in the soil and in the plants around here. I don't know. I
Mhm.
haven't really delved into it far, but I've heard that story from several people. But it could be genetics. Um,
Right.
the genetics just keep them smaller down here. Um, it could be an over hunted at times, which has messed with the genetics. There's
Mhm.
an issue where at times before things were regulated and controlled were, and back when our ancestors were eating a lot of meat, that was a major source of food. So I'm sure that there was some over honey in the areas. So
For sure. So, what are your plans moving forward? You have any goals or anything like that, like target goal weight or?
I'd like to hit between, I don't know, 250 to 265. I would be extremely happy with that. I haven't been that low in my adulthood, you know.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So if I could get down to that, I'd be, well, that's not true. Since I was in my mid 20s, maybe, 'cause
Mhm.
I was down around 230, 240 when I was 22, 23. But that was after I had gained a lot of weight and lost a lot of weight. So I've always struggled with my weight. So if I can get down to 260, I'd be pretty happy. I'm a big guy. I'm, 6'2", and
Okay.
pretty, and so my weight spreads out. You can't, a lot of people look at me and I tell them how much I weigh. They're like, no way. I'm like, yeah, yeah, it's there. I just have enough mass of me to hide it all.
Right.
So I don't know, but I'll take it to where my body wants to go.
Mhm.
That'll be the ultimate. You'll see exactly where I can get. I mean, obviously I wouldn't want to get too small. I wouldn't want to get, you know, too lean. That would be unhealthy. But I do want to see where the balance is. You
Right.
know, I'm not looking to get ripped or get super lean. That's doesn't make any sense for me. But you know, we'll see what happens.
That's awesome. Yeah. I would say I'm probably like 2 pounds, 3 pounds, 4 pounds from my ideal weight, and I went way beyond what I thought. What my goal was. So I'm just gonna say, be prepared because your body's like, we're doing this. You feed us
Mhm.
the proper nutrition, we're gonna get you back to where you're supposed to be, and you have no say in this unless you
Yeah,
start carving it up again.
yeah. I mean, you could see it because, like, if you look at Sophie eats steaks,
Right.
she's putting weight on, eating the same
Yeah.
diet that I'm eating is taking weight off. That's the
Mhm.
awesome thing. She's going to find her ideal weight. and and I will find mine, and you'll find yours, and that's where you should be at.
Hmm.
That's the way you would have been if we hadn't been consuming all this sugar.
Right. Yeah. And I don't even know what the ideal body fat percentage is. I think that's just some sort of arbitrary number that
Yeah,
the medical
it-
industry has given us. I think if you eat this way, you're just going to naturally find that equilibrium. You're not, your body is. You don't have to tell it to do anything. It just does it.
yeah, your body's going to know what's good, healthy weight for yourself. That's what I tell everybody. I said you just got to listen to your body.
Hmm.
Your body's going to know. You're eating this way, your body will know. It'll know when to eat. It'll know when not to eat. And it'll know when to lose weight and when to build muscle. And it's going to do what it's, God made it, intended to do.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So let's find out exactly where everybody can find you on YouTube. Your YouTube
Okay.
name. Yeah.
So my channel is Carnivore Backwoods. And I've got a couple of long videos on, and I got a few short videos. I've done some videos, going to McDonald's and Wendy's and stuff on lunch. I'm, working on some other ideas for videos that hopefully I'll be getting out this week. Uh, I did a whole video at Sam's Club, but I got to edit that thing out to make it make sense. Um,
Right.
I have a Facebook page now that I set up, which is also Carnivore Backwoods. And so I picked up
Okay.
quite a few people there. And of course, I can be emailed at carnivorebackwoods@gmail.com. So if
Okay.
anybody can get a hold of me, or wants to talk, I'm open for conversation.
Awesome.
And I'm just gonna keep working towards, letting people know.
Very cool. So we'll definitely link all that information in the description below for anybody that wants to connect with John and check out his videos and follow along on his journey and his homestead adventures. And so, what I want to ask you is, what would be maybe your number one or number one and two tip for somebody that is thinking about starting a carnivore diet and uh, would be able to benefit from?
From my perspective, do your research. You know, you don't have to listen to me. You don't have to listen to anybody. You don't have to believe Ken Berry. You don't have to believe anybody, but do your research so that you can make an informed decision. You know, doctors tell you things, but they don't give you all the information. People want to sell you stuff. Like, some of these diet gurus on YouTube, they'll be like, if you do this, you're going to lose that. No, but if you buy my big package of videos here, I'm going to help you lose weight. Do your research. I think that's the biggest thing. You need to know before you make your decision because it's your health. And I think that it's important for people to take control of their own lives and their own health, and not just flow with the rest of the people around them. So that'd be my number one, you know, recommendation is make sure you do your research so you understand what you're doing, for your own health.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's great advice. And definitely, I would implore everyone to listen to what John has to say. Be the captain of your own ship, be your own boss. You can let your body be its own doctor in a lot of cases. And, I definitely appreciate you chatting with you today and getting to know you a little bit better. And I hope we can link up later on, maybe come on the cookout again sometime,
No,
cut it up
absolutely.
a little fun. And
Ab-
yeah, it was an honor having you here, and I appreciate spending this time with you.
Absolutely. I appreciate being on here. So, um, I want to be very active within the carnivore community. So, anything I can do to help or add into it, just let me know.
Awesome. Will do. Thanks, John.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have a good one.
Have a good one.
Thanks, John, for sharing your empowering journey with us. If you haven't done so yet, be sure to subscribe to Carnivore Backwoods. There, you'll find some awesome content that will inspire you to transform your life with a carnivore way of living. We'd love to hear from you in the comments section about your own experiences with the carnivore diet. Tell us about the positive transformations and benefits you've encountered, and don't hesitate to share this video with anyone who might find John's carnivore journey both inspiring and uplifting. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Your support truly means a lot to me. Thank you again. Stay amazing. and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.